What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to High Floor Football. My name is Sam Wagman, and with me, as always, is my co-host Jay Arsh. And tonight we are going to do a Best Ball Mania 3 or Best Ball Mania 4 draft for you guys. The great folks over at Underdog, as always, have put up this massive tournament with $3 million to first place. So if you want to draft on the best platform in the world for best ball leagues and for props and special style of DFS, this is the place to go. And then of course you can always use our code HFF to sign up. You get a 100% deposit match on up to $100 on your first deposit only if you sign up with that code. We will drop that in the description for you. But Jay, man, it is time to draft. How are you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to do this. We've done a bunch of drafts individually. We haven't done one together, so I'm excited to do that. We actually looks like we landed right at the 106, so right in the middle, which will be nice. We're not going to be waiting on the long turns one way or the other, so we'll have picks pretty quickly. But I'm doing well, and I'm excited to do this. Excited to see how it comes out. If anybody pays attention to our show ever, that Sam and I tend to have differing opinions sometimes. So this will be fun to, draft this team together and see how it comes together.
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of drafts, how many drafts have you done so far this spring?
Well, this spring, I guess post NFL draft about 150. In combination with like the poodles, the puppies, the Best Ball Mania, and then some of the super flex stuff prior to the draft as well. So yeah, probably close to 200 total, but 150 post NFL draft.
And what's your preferred route to take? In terms of the first couple of rounds, you tend to go wide receiver, running back, wide receiver. Yep. What do you like to do? So in terms of what we're gonna do at 6, why don't you break it down?
Well, it really depends. I mean, at 6 here, I do like going wide receiver with one of these guys that hopefully we'll have a Stephon Diggs or an AJ Brown on the board, because I do like the running back values a lot in the second round, especially where we're going to be picking. So I like to lock down that first wide receiver. Christian McCaffrey is dropping right now as well, which is interesting.
So Christian McCaffrey dropped to me at 7 the other day. Like I had to take him.
Taking McCaffrey at the 106 would not be the preferred strategy for me, but it's just one of those things. Lion CD Lamb went there.
So, are we going to go McCaffrey here?
Sure, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's take him.
All right. Let's do it. CMC on the board. The thing with McCaffrey is just, he's just he possesses such a high ceiling. And of course, that's what we're looking for in these drafts is the spike potential. And, even though that we saw kind of Elijah Mitchell take somewhat of a prominent rushing role at times in this offense last year, in terms of red zone share, Mitchell saw 55% of the red zone rushing touches, something I discovered this morning when filling out, some undervalued running backs here. I do think the 49ers ultimately want to get CMC all the high value touches they can. That's, passes in the red zone, passes out of the backfield. They want him to be on the field a lot, and they want him to do a lot of the damage. But in today's NFL, it's really not uncommon to see backs, switching on and off the field. But you can do so much with CMC. He possesses such a high ceiling, as long as he's able to stay healthy, which he was able to do, thankfully, last season most of the time. So, it made a lot of sense there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like I was kind of saying before we made the pick, is that's my preferred strategy would be to take some of those running backs in the second round and get one of the wide receivers. But when a Christian McCaffrey drops to 106, it's definitely worth taking and then kind of figuring it out from there. It looks like some of those running backs will still be there.
Yeah, it's tough because they're falling. It's tough because they're falling. It's tough because they're falling, and that presents an opportunity. Do we kind of enter that area? Like if a Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Saquon falls, I know you're super high on Chubb. Would you entertain taking one of those guys right there? And as I say that, Saquon goes off the board.
Chubb would be the one that I would take of the
Mhm.
running backs, but I just did this actually in a draft where I went Eckler, Chubb
Oh,
to start,
okay.
and I was not too happy with how I had to
The wide
recover from it.
receivers.
It's tough,
So
man. You tell yourself you'll be able to, but it is really tough to make that comeback on wide receivers unless
yeah,
certain guys drop.
there goes Chubb off the board at 205, and with one pick ahead of us, who's your preferred wide receiver right here of Olave, Devontae Smith, and T. Higgins, or do you have another strategy that you'd like to go with?
From here, I think I would rather go Chris Olave.
Okay, I
What
was
do you
thinking that
think?
too. I
Okay.
was thinking that too. For me, Olave is one of the guys in that back end wide receiver one, early stage wide receiver two range that really has a shot to jump into that top 8 of the wide receiver group. I think, um, you know, Michael Thomas being healthy, can only help him, to take some of the attention away from him. He gets a perceived quarterback upgrade in Derek Carr. And, we know Carr loves to throw that deep ball. Was not really Andy Dalton's strength last year. Um, and we saw, Olave miss out on a little bit, but obviously his reception perception chart was great, as always. And I think Olave's in for a pretty solid year as well.
And it gives us a lot more flexibility. If we
Yeah.
do want to take one of these quarterbacks that falls, if we do want to take the second running back, if we want to take Mark Andrews, it gives you a lot of flexibility to where you're not falling behind at any of the positions. We got Christian McCaffrey at a great value. We got Chris Olave pretty much at ADP. So we have the flexibility without having to really chase anywhere. Chris Olave also, opens up the opportunities of late, stacks with Derek Carr and Juwan Johnson and
Yep.
some of those Saints guys that are available a little bit later. So I'm
Yep.
looking forward to see who comes up in these
Yep.
next 4.
I actually have Chris Olave ranked ahead of that group of running backs that you were talking about, Pollard, Jacobs, and Chubb.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have him ranked ahead of that group. He's at 20th overall for me, right inside the tier 2 mark. I really like Chris Olave, so I'm perfectly happy to get him at 207 there. I think that's a great pick for us.
Yeah, and so what are you thinking here as we're watching it, come down to us in the next 3 picks? Because we've got all 3 quarterbacks are still on the board.
Now
Uh,
that
DK is my there goes one. DK is probably my top pick at receiver here. I'm kind of staying away from Brees Hall right now.
Okay,
So
I'm a big Brees Hall fan, particularly for best ball this year, especially with what we know about him. Given the fact that after it's a little bit of a cliff, you can get 2 very solid running backs, and you're kind of set up for success. Jalen Hurts fell to us as well. I mean that's kind of a guy I didn't expect to fall to
yeah,
30th overall. I mean, I'm fine with Hurts if you want to
I
take him as well.
I don't mind. I would like taking Hurts here too.
Okay.
And we can figure out getting Dallas Goedert, maybe some of the Eagles running backs a little bit
Yeah.
later.
Yeah,
But
I
he's just a
like
good
that.
value here.
Yeah, I like to take Dallas Goddard, and then either probably we'll look to take Swift in the mid rounds. That's if I don't have AJ Brown, that's typically my preferred stack instead of Dallas Goddard. I the problem with Goddard to me, and typically I've only done Goddard if I do an AJ Brown stack as well. But the problem with Goddard is he's just not a great leading stack to have because he's a little bit unreliable. He just ends up being a little bit unreliable every season. We've done this the last 3 years with him, where we put him on this super pedestal, to be a top 5 guy, and then he just ends up not being it. Whether it's because of injury or because of opportunity, something always happens. And I think I'm a little more comfortable at price with a guy like DeAndre Swift, who's going a few picks later, and I think we'll see a lot of receiving share this year.
I haven't drafted DeAndre Swift. I don't
At
think
all?
on. I don't think so. I hate his
Interesting.
ADP. I just don't think that he really belongs in that group. Where just scroll
Interesting.
back
I
down to
like
where
using
he's
him as
at.
like a zero. I like using him
Yeah,
as a zero running back starter.
I draft a ton of Treylon Burks and Jahan Dotson
Okay.
and some other guys in that range, so I just haven't drafted him as much. I draft Kenny Gainwell a lot
Like
late.
I don't draft any of the running backs around that except for like Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Swift are the guys that I draft in that range.
Yes,
So
and
Brees Hall going
I
at
knew this was going to
10.
be fun for
Wow.
us because this is completely different. I don't take those two as much, but I get it. I mean, I think DeAndre Swift definitely has good upside. I just don't love his ADP there. Well,
What
did
do you
somebody do
think?
that 3 running
What do
back
you think
start?
about this AFAX guy going
Yeah.
running back? Super fragile, but he got a great price on Brees. He got Eckler to fall one spot below ADP, and then he reached a little bit on Saquon, but he gets 3 really solid running backs there.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it finishes. All of those are going to
Mhm.
look awesome right at right at the start, and
Mhm.
then when you start to see them reaching on the different receivers. But it's an awesome start. It's something to play around with because there's probably not going to be too many like Eckler, Saquon, Brees teams, I guess.
Mhm.
So I don't
Okay,
mind
so
that
we should
start.
look to plan. We should look to plan out with our pick and 6 picks. We're entering a really uncomfortable range, at least for me. Typically what I like to do is pray that Jahmyr Gibbs lasts to me. And if not, I've found myself taking, a guy like Terry McLaurin or Drake London, typically
Yes,
because I think London has some upside, some spike potential. And I think McLaurin's probably the safest option here. I'm okay to take Christian Kirk if he's the only one left, but I'd much rather, even DJ Moore ahead of him. What's your take in this area?
McLaurin's kind of my guy in this range,
Okay.
and he has been for a little while. I just think that we said it on our last show and we were talking about the best ball strategies and stuff. I mean, I just think he's boring for sure. Like you said, he doesn't have like the 1,500-yard upside, but he probably is going to get 1,000 to 1,100 yards and 7 to 9 touchdowns or so. And I think that he's kind of the most. He's not only is he like the safest, I guess, but it's like there's just less to be. I mean, I guess it's kind of going the same way because there's less to be worried about with him as I feel there is these other guys. I like Drake London as well, but I think I kind of draft DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin the most out of that group.
Okay.
They just took Jerry Judy,
Yeah,
so
I like Judy. I think he's a little bit overdrafted. I'm still
yeah,
unsure of what to think about this entire Denver offense. I think getting Lamar there is a kind of a steal. But yeah,
yeah,
this
for
pretty
sure.
much leaves the entire board
Oh,
for us. And McLaurin going ahead of us makes me ask a question. What is your stance on DeAndre Hopkins?
I'm not. I don't like DeAndre Hopkins this high.
Okay.
That feels so uncertain to me. All the teams that he's like rumored to go to are not great passing teams in the first place. Fuck, I don't know where we're gonna go.
9 seconds.
I'd say maybe DJ Moore or Drake London. So
All right,
you make
let's
the
go
call.
DJ Moore. I have enough Drake London.
And honestly, yeah, I was gonna say this could be something wild that could happen here, but it's 10
What?
picks away. I was gonna say, it would be a interesting start, but I don't recommend it. But if Justin Fields made it back and you grabbed Justin Fields
Ooh.
too, a Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts team would be pretty wild. But I don't think it's gonna happen in the first place. So we could probably grab a couple more receivers here who I really like. Is a little bit lower, might not make it back to us too, is Joe Mixon. I just think his ADP is a little off right now. If everything goes
100%.
right, if everything goes right with Cincy and he's not suspended or there's no legal issues or anything, I mean he should really be like a third round pick. So
Mhm.
he's been a great value. I kind of think we should grab the third receiver here though. Getting McCaffrey early gives us like some flexibility on that. Um,
Yeah, no, I'm okay to leave running back for another 2, 3 rounds,
yeah,
honestly.
scroll down a
I
little
don't like
bit
any of
there.
the guys. I don't like any of the guys in the next 3 rounds.
Yeah, where's
Right.
Ayuk? Scroll up a little bit.
Ayuk is right at
Yeah,
55. He's gonna pop right on
I
us
think Ayuk's
if we're
interesting.
lucky.
He's also got the week 17 with or sorry, the stack with McCaffrey to just kind of have
He does.
the Niners
They
stacked in
play
case we want
the
to.
I want to say they play the Cardinals
They
week
play
17.
Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, they play Washington week 17. That's where I was getting mixed up with that with them because I had McLaurin on my brain. Um, but I would think Ayuk's a pretty good pick here. Like he's a strong wide receiver 3, in my opinion. Somebody who can kind of have those boom weeks. He's in a good offense. that should be scoring, and we'll have that stack with them. If if we do end up waiting on quarterback and want to take a Brock Purdy, late, that'd be pretty awesome to have Purdy, McCaffrey, and Ayuk.
There goes Mixon.
Yeah, I'm thinking an Ayuk or I would consider going the RB2 if a couple of those guys go off the board.
I just don't know. It's a little early. Dobbins doesn't
Yeah.
give me a lot of spike potential.
I dropped a lot of Dobbins, but yeah, I agree. On this team, I don't.
I'm
love
okay
him
with.
there.
Again,
Oh
right in
wow,
front of us.
yeah, there it goes. I don't know how you feel
Why?
about Kittle though. Too, it would be kind of the similar idea. We'd be a little behind on our wide receivers though.
Not too crazy about him. That he's
All right,
gone
well,
anyways.
yeah, there he goes.
So we have a couple options here. I am personally a huge fan of Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I don't mind Hollywood Brown here. It's also a Week 17 stack with Hurts.
Okay, I like that. Ooh, let's do that. I'm down for that. Okay, I like that a lot. I'm typically not afraid of taking either Lockett there.
Totally.
I'm not a fan of JSNs. I'm a huge JSN fan, not a fan of the ADP. I think it's way too early for him. People are talking like they're drafting him like he's going to overtake Lockett in statistical ability, like right away, and I just don't see that being a thing. Pete Carroll's an old guy. He's going to run this offense the way he wants to, and he's going to run it the way it works. And he's gonna still let Tyler Lockett do his thing. So
yeah, I actually have never been a big Tyler Lockett guy, and it's funny that I draft him a lot more this year than I have in any other years, but it's because he does fall. I mean, I think a lot of the time somebody takes JSN and then Lockett's kind of just sitting there in this like boring group of guys. And there's like the quarterbacks, like what we're looking at right now, where it's like Herbert and Lawrence are kind of in like a tier before it drops down to Deshaun, which there's a big drop off between like where Lawrence and Deshaun are. So people are typically grabbing those quarterbacks, and then a few running backs in this range. I feel like Lockett does seem to fall. I think unless, I don't know, I'd probably stick with receiver here. The 7 picks away, we're probably going to miss out on, Aaron Jones here. I actually like Dameon Pierce at ADP. I think that he's like a pretty good buy there. But I think if we can grab one of these receivers as our wide receiver 4, like if Lockett makes it back, or Deontay Johnson, Treylon Burks, one of those guys, feel pretty comfortable at wide receiver for a little bit. We also have Dallas Goedert coming up soon. We can probably wait on. We probably won't be able to get him if we don't take him. But what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I'd also like to take Michael Pittman possibly as well.
Yeah, Michael Pittman would be a good.
I honestly considered him over Hollywood.
Yeah, Michael Pittman would be a good wide receiver 4. I mean, if we could, if we had him, I typically, if I take Jalen Hurts earlier, one of these elite quarterbacks, I'd like to wait and get that QB2 later. But Anthony Richardson in that range of him, Tua, and Dak also seems to fall a lot on the board.
Dude, this guy's 5 running backs and nothing else, and Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand what he's doing. Anyways.
So yeah, we're up next. If Pittman makes it, you want to take him?
Pittman, we can go Pierce.
Yeah, I'd say Pittman, Pierce.
Pierce is safe.
I like
Pierce is very safe. But we can, we can also take Goddard here. Do you want to take Goddard? You want to grab the stack real quick? And then maybe try and swing around on DeAndre
Yeah, there
Swift.
are a lot of these wide receivers in this range that, I feel like that's more of a break here. Let's just take Goddard and see what receiver comes back. Okay. We have time. I mean, with McCaffrey as our kind of hero RB here, we have some flexibility to add some just guys later.
Yeah, we could also look at Swift on the wraparound. Swift's there. Jahan Dotson's there.
Yeah, I like Jahan Dotson a lot in this range.
Lockett. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of George Pickens and what he can do potentially.
Are you
Let's see.
not? Do you like Deontay Johnson in this range at all?
I didn't
Did
even
he
think
just go?
Deontay Johnson's not on the board.
Oh, Deontay went. He
Deontay
was.
went.
Yeah, he was there. I don't. My bad.
Deontay went before
Right
our
before our
last pick.
pick. Yeah.
Yeah. Lockett finally went. That's late for him. Wow. It's really late. It's really late. Almost a full round after ADP. I think DeAndre Swift is interesting. He'd be a sub ADP pick. Brandon Cooks, that's early, really early.
I know. I saw you tweet about it too. I've been drafting like so much
I'm
Brandon Cooks.
so much Brandon Cooks. Like at ADP, I like at 80, and I even find myself drafting Dak because of it. Like
Yeah,
I think Cooks is a really good pick at ADP.
and Jake
like
Ferguson in like the last round.
Oh yeah, so much Jake Ferguson. I think everyone forgets that Brandon Cooks is really good at football. Just no, he must have a really bad like attitude or something.
Well, there's a lot you can do
board.
with it. Like when you take Cooks and then
off the board.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're coming up against me versus you here for really the first time. So we have two guys on our board right now. Yeah, and I will not entertain the thought of taking Treylon Burks. I really just have no interest. What would you like to do? What do you think we should do here?
I think we take Jahan Dotson.
All right.
I think that we can make it up with running back a little later.
We definitely can. I don't think it's about that. Do you like Dotson over a guy like Jordan Addison here?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right, let's take Dotson.
All right, cool. That actually, a little bit of week 17 again with the Washington Niners game.
Look at this. This is kind of hilarious. We got one guy with 5 wide receivers and 1 tight end, no running backs, no quarterback. We got one guy with 5 running backs and 1 quarterback, no wide receivers, no tight end.
Yeah, let's see that guy with the 5 wide receivers. What's his team looking like?
So he now has 6 wide receivers, and keeps popping off him. Jalen Waddle, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, JSN, Deontay, Jordan Addison, and Travis Kelce. For starting your team off with Jalen Waddle, not the strongest wide receiver to start off with. I gotta give the guy some admiration on how he's built a squad. Like it's very interesting. He hasn't done crazy. He's done some crazy reaching here and there. He just got Addison nearly a full round after ADP, which is nice. He doesn't have to reach too much. There's a nice pocket of quarterbacks right here coming up. There's just a nice pocket of guys that are coming up. So I think that guy is going to be okay. And God damn it, I was really hoping Swift would make it a little bit further to us.
Yeah, that would have.
Anyways,
I don't know. I think it's interesting. I don't mind him doing that kind of start, doing the what?
This guy's got a crappy team.
Yeah.
Anyways,
no, I don't mind the 5 wide receiver start with that. I didn't feel like it was that strong given what he kind of could have done with it. But I guess he also has Kelce. So
yeah. So all right. So we have a couple options here. We have this pocket of running backs right here. They're starting to dry up.
This is why I feel good about the Jahan Dotson pick, though, because these wide receivers get I like taking Jameson Williams sometimes here if he's like my wide receiver 5 or 6, but you're having to tell yourself. I like Elijah Moore, to an extent too, but you have to tell yourself a little bit of a story with him. I don't.
Well, him as your wide receiver 5 is a lot more tenable than taking him as your wide receiver 4.
Yeah,
same with Zay Flowers.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but we do have some running backs that are still on the board. What are you thinking here? I like out of this range, not as much James Cook because I feel like we can still invest
I hate James Cook.
We can still invest in Damian Harris a little later if we wanted to.
Zero interest in James Cook.
Yeah. I don't hate Pacheco here as like the RB2, just another good offense to be a part of.
He has a week 17 matchup as well with Cincy.
Mm-hmm.
We can go there. I like that. David Montgomery is interesting, but he's got the same buy as Pacheco. So I'm going to roll with or same buy as McCaffrey. So I'm going to roll with Pacheco. Yeah, that's fine. Hero RB to that point. Anchor RB. We could go we could go running back heavy. The next couple, you could take a guy like Charbonnet. You could take a guy like
I
P. Ryan.
I drafted a ton of AJ Dillon too. I
AJ
like
Dillon intrigues me.
I
AJ Dillon
like
intrigues me.
AJ
I just don't know
Dillon.
how many leads they're gonna have.
Yeah,
That's an interesting thing, to see and to see, what. I'm very interested to see what kind of tendencies Jordan Love will have in terms of throwing the ball to his running backs. Rodgers did it a lot, and he got Dillon involved. I know Matt LaFleur wants to keep Dillon involved. To what extent is my question.
yeah. I like him in this range, but yeah, I get it.
Damn, I was going to entertain Jameson Williams if he fell anymore.
Oh, I would have taken it. Yeah,
Juju bothers me. He's continuing to miss practice. He's got a knee issue. I don't love it. I also think the Patriots are going to end up signing DeAndre Hopkins based on what we've heard this week, and so that's
what
makes
worries
me
me a little bit
out.
about Hopkins is I've loved DeAndre Hopkins his entire career, but the teams
I have no issue
rumored,
with it. He's back to Bill O'Brien offense.
Yeah, that's true. But I just feel like I don't know, the teams that he's kind of rumored around are not too intriguing to me. Even the Bills, like I just kind of feel like that would be a weird situation for him.
I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, so but some of the receivers here too. I mean, I don't mind Tyler Boyd as well as kind of like a wide receiver 5 or 6. I mean, he's just
we get the stack.
Week 17 stack.
Yep.
With him and Pacheco. I like both. I actually, I drafted so much Antonio Gibson to start the draft season, and I still draft a lot of him.
I have a lot of him as well.
It was more him and Brian Robinson used to be much further. Brian Robinson used to be much higher, and now he's kind of dropped. Gibson has risen. And I don't hate Brian Robinson either at this point, just because I feel like, he's whether we like it or not, he's going to be the one getting the red zone touches for the most part.
Now I think he's fair. I think he's fairly ranked. I think both of them are fairly ranked at this point. I think they're both back end RB3s, with Gibson has the upside, obviously. I'm not taking Brian Robinson anywhere, but I would rather, a guy like AJ Dillon. I would rather Zach Charbonnet here. But I think Tyler Boyd is probably the route I'd like to go, given the fact that the wide receivers are really going to dry up now.
Yeah,
I do like Sky Moore. I think we could target Sky Moore next. Like I don't know where you're at in terms of the year 2 breakout of Sky Moore. Like I'm a huge advocate.
I'm a little in between because I'm not out on him. I do think that there's something to be said about Andy Reid, like not really utilizing many rookies that heavily in his tenure, kind of throughout his whole career. So I'm not that surprised, that I didn't draft a ton of Sky Moore last year, so I'm not like snake bitten by him. So I don't really care one way or the other.
You mean like me?
Yeah. Well, like a lot of people, I don't blame anybody for doing it, but I'm saying I'm not like as hurt by Sky Moore, so I'm not out on him. And I also would not be surprised to see him take a major step because they haven't really done too much. I have not drafted much for Rashee Rice, though. I've kind of stayed away from him.
I have a couple. Let's talk quarterbacks for a second. Do we have any need for a quarterback in this range? Typically I like to wrap up. When I take a guy like Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen or Mahomes, I like to wrap up and grab a guy, in that 15 to 20 range. Think of Rodgers, think of Goff, think of Wilson. Guys who can still put it together. Maybe we go back, down to QB 19 and take Carr.
I would probably be
12th or 13th round.
Carr. For this team, hopefully, because I also like Juwan Johnson a lot, and I think that he goes really late. And so, like getting those two, they kind of go around each other. So we'll probably be taking them, back to back if that's what we want to do. But I think that's a pretty good one to have. Carr, Olave, and Juwan Johnson is a good team stack there with the Saints. I think at this next pick, we should probably look at some of the running backs.
Yeah, I think Damian Harris is right there for us to take. I'm perfectly fine with taking him. I think he's a guy that I'm gonna look at a ton here. Kendrick Miller is someone I look at later. I think Kendrick Miller is possibly a great look for us because of the stack. We're gonna take Damian Harris here. we can look at Sky Moore next, and then maybe like a Kendra Miller after. What do you think about that? Kendra is the RB4 there for us.
Yeah, I've honestly liked Kendra Miller a lot in like dynasty and stuff and rookie drafts. I've liked him a lot. I haven't drafted a ton of him in best ball, but I'm cool with it. I've kind of gone with Jamal Williams just because I do think he's gonna like have the most solidified role. But I think Kendra Miller probably has more upside, so I don't have a problem with
Yeah,
that.
I put in an article this morning that I think Kendra Miller is going to start off a little slower. He's obviously working off the MCL injury that kept him out of the national championship and kept him out of testing this past spring. But I do think he's got the purest workhorse role. Going down the stretch, and honestly, we've seen Jamal Williams eclipse 160 carries once in his career, and it was last year. Like, what is the likelihood that he replicates anywhere close to it?
Oh yeah, I don't
So,
think he's. If he was, but if anybody thought that, he would be going much higher than he's going.
yeah, that's fair.
Like, if anybody thought he was going to score 17 touchdowns again, we'd be drafting him in like the 4th round. I like Nico Collins as well.
I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
Nico Collins. Shit, a little glitchy. There goes Sky Moore. That's very unfortunate, but it kind of frees us up to add a couple different guys into here. What about this grouping here? Do you like, you said you mentioned Rashee Rice earlier. Do you have an interest in taking him?
Not too much. I mean, if you want
Okay.
to, I'm fine with it. I'm not gonna
I think it goes back to that
disagree
Andy
too
Reid.
hard on
I
it.
think it goes back to the whole Andy Reid thing that we've gotten used to. He
Yeah,
really
I'm
just
not.
doesn't utilize running backs that much.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna utilize the rookie
Okay, so
that
we're
heavily.
here.
It's an ugly range. This is like a
It is an ugly range,
really
and if we
gross.
take Khalil Herbert, it kind of puts us out of the Kendra Miller sweepstakes for now. And there he goes. Anyways, what do you think? What are you thinking here? I saw that Romeo Dubs has been playing a lot with Jordan Love lately. What is your kind of feeling here? Do you want to go tight end? Chase
I'll probably
Okonkwo,
stay away
Dalton
from the tight
Kincaid?
end because I think we
Okay,
can still grab some of
6
those guys
seconds.
later. Shit. You make the call. Pick whoever you want here. It's a little
All right,
blurry
let's
for
go.
me.
Let's go Dubs. It's a little safe.
All right,
I missed our pick. God damn it.
it's all right.
I tried to yeah.
We're
Well,
okay.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, we're fine.
God, I hate this. I do not like this interface, and we missed Kendra Miller.
Yeah, well, for me, it was it got kind of blurry, and I can only see what's on that like in that little box there. But I don't. We're
Right.
fine. We're fine. That's why you set the queue.
All right, so
It's not
we're
terrible.
back to thinking about running back here since we only have 3. Looking a little bit further down the list, Jalen Warren, Tank Bigsby, Roshan. I'm a huge Roshan guy personally. Where do you stand there?
I don't love that whole range of running backs. I would probably say Roshan would be the one I'd be most interested in there.
Okay.
But
Tyler
I don't even
Algier is
mind like
there.
waiting a little bit. I mean, if
Okay.
we could just kind of do like more of this fragile
Wide
running back
receiver.
room here,
Okay.
and see what we can do. I mean, like I like Nico Collins a lot. Looks like you do too. If we could get him, I don't hate that. I like Alec Pierce too.
I like Van Jefferson.
Yeah, I like Van Jefferson a lot. I feel like I
I also like
contributed to
KJ
his
Osborne.
ADP spike at this point. I feel like I was drafting so much Van Jefferson. I feel like it was so late, and now it's like you have to like invest in him.
Look
I
how
like Van
far
Jefferson a
Daniel
lot.
Jones is following, dude. Daniel Jones has fallen 2 rounds past ADP.
Yeah, I know that
Like,
one's a
are people
surprise.
just that far out on Daniel Jones at this point? Like, are they finally like there was that rush of people who said Daniel Jones a top 10 QB for best ball and fantasy purposes, and then all of a sudden it's just like crickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they got arguably one of the bigger upgrades of the offseason, Darren Waller coming in. God damn it. This guy
Let me go.
every time. Back to back.
Watching the stream. Oh wow, Jefferson went too. Okay.
Back to back on us.
I like Alec Pierce personally.
All right. Well,
Here's the
let's look here. I don't have any issue taking Pierce. I think we can go ahead and take him, and then pencil in Roshan as well. How about this next tier of guys? Do you have any interest in this grouping here? I love Gerald Everett. I think we can pencil in Gerald Everett.
I like Everett a lot too, but I'd rather take Juwan Johnson to fill out the Saints stack.
Johnson?
He's like right below.
Oh, he's down there.
Right there. So out of those two, I totally agree. I like Gerald Everett a lot, but since we have the Saints thing going, I'd rather take Juwan. Yeah, I would probably take a running back. We could probably take the RB4 here. I still think that we can add some guys late. I mean, we can add like a Kenneth Gainwell pretty late, get him at least with the Eagles stack. And I don't think he's much different than some of the other Eagles running backs. At least
I think Gainwell's a great pick.
Yeah, so we can grab him a
terrific pick.
I know you don't like Chuba Hubbard, but I think he's an interesting pick later. I like Jeff Wilson still.
Never, even if there's a fire.
Chuba.
Correct.
Never, even if there's a roll. Because there seems to be a roll.
even if Miles Sanders gets hurt.
Oh never. Wow. Okay. I'll hold you to it when I have all my Hubbard.
Something
shares.
About rookie. Something. I mean, it's you can make the case about rookie quarterback more load shouldered placed on running back given the have to work them in. But
let me ask you really quick, just because they're back to back and our picks coming in. Oh, never mind. Tank Bigsby's gone. I was just gonna say because I like Bigsby too. I honestly don't draft him much, but in this sort of setup, I was interested in him and kind of comparing him to Roshan. He's competing with one less guy. Okay, so we'll recover.
Devin Singletary.
I don't hate Singletary. I think Singletary's kind of
over Algier. Over Algier.
Yeah, I would take him over Algier personally on this team. We need a body who's gonna be on the field for sure, and I think Singletary will be.
Okay, all right, here we go.
I'm taking him. He's kind of like a. This is going to be funny using both of these players for this analogy, but he's kind of like a higher end Chuba Hubbard to me in that, they're both not the starter. Dameon Pierce is the guy. Miles Sanders is the guy, at least based on the money and the talent.
Based on what they say.
Based on what should make sense. But they're both going to be playing. Chuba will be playing, and Devin Singletary will be playing more than we want him to. And he can do some different things, so I don't mind him. I like Jaden Reed in this range too. Tyquan Thornton.
I do too, but I've been worried that he hasn't been playing as much in these 2 wide receiver sets. He only comes on for 3 wide receiver sets. He might be shafted in that case. You're going to see a lot of. That's what I was kind of referring to with Romeo Dubs earlier.
Yeah,
Dubs sees a lot of space there, but I do think Reed's going to get worked in simply out of need.
Well, should we probably take Juwan this next pick if he gets back to us?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So he's popular though. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody just takes him right before us. And in that case,
2 tight ends, 1 tight end. This guy, this Colt 45 CP could be an issue.
In that case, though, bear with me. How do you feel about Taysom Hill? Because I have been coming around on late Taysom Hills. Because if you're doing,
I'd rather take Sam Laporta, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't mind that. That's fine. Sam Laporta could be fine, but I'm just saying the late ones, dude. I got Taysom Hill 20 spots after ADP the other day, and a team where I was waiting on tight end and just grabbing 3, and I felt really good about it. It was a Gerald Everett, Taysom Hill.
Yeah, you felt great.
Yeah.
Did you feel Did you feel great about drafting Taysom Hill?
I did.
Yeah, you did.
We
Uh-huh.
play for Spike Weeks here. Have you ever heard of Taysom Hill? He is Spike Weeks.
He is Spike Week,
He can
yes,
show
but
up 2 weeks all season, but he could score 80 points in those 2 weeks. And if Kamara gets suspended, who do you think's taking that goal line? Probably Taysom Hill.
Jamal Williams,
Probably Taysom
bro,
Hill
or
more than
Kendra
Lewa.
Miller.
That's what you
I
think.
can't stand Taysom Hill,
That's
dude.
what you
That guy.
think. Yeah, but dude, he's a guy who has tight end eligibility who could play
I
quarterback. Like
know, I know.
it's
It's just
not.
it's still such a wild thing to me that people are so in on that. Okay, please go. All right, yes,
All
let's
right, cool. Yeah,
go.
take you on.
Let's
We're
go. Full
recovering just
stack.
fine. We're recovering just fine from the car from
Yeah,
the
yeah. I
car
think
stall.
I'm perfectly fine with how we've looked here so far. All right, so now that we're past that, Jaden Reed is still on the board. Marvin Mims still on the board. I think we're set on running back until we look to take Gainwell in a couple of rounds. And I think with this build, we can kind of go with a 5 running back, maybe 6.
Yeah, we'll see how it plans out, but I wouldn't mind a 6 with this one just because
I
of.
would like to get another wide receiver in here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Let's see here. I would love to get Marvin Mims next if possible. I would have been fine taking him, but I know the need to get Juwan Johnson was probably greater there. I mean, quad stack with Shaheed, not out of the question. Spike week again, like the guy just screams downfield touchdowns. Isaiah Hodgins is another interesting guy. I would say
Yeah.
I think Hodgins is legitimately the best wide receiver in New York.
I like him and Darius Slayton. And Slayton's been like climbing up a little bit too. But I wouldn't mind
Also,
taking either of them. I like Claypool in this
Also,
range
I'm
too.
like addicted to taking Chase Claypool in like round 16 or 17, and I
Yeah.
don't really know what's wrong with me. Like I was asking people to like ask me like what's wrong with me, and someone
I
did, and
mean,
I just said I'm just a toxic person.
no, but it's not like I think it makes a lot of sense. It's like this Chase
Shakir is
Claypool
someone
everybody
who I was
wants
gonna
to be
look at.
like so far out on.
Dude, look at this guy just drafted Shakir 26 spots ahead of ADP, and I think he's tacky, and I hate him
Does
because
he have Josh
I was
Allen?
gonna target. He does not have Josh Allen. He
He's
doesn't
just
have a
doing a
single
little.
Buffalo player
He's
on his
doing the New
team.
England. Yeah, it looks like he's got a little New England Buffalo thing
Oh,
going
that's
on for
interesting.
Week 17. I would imagine, or maybe he's not thinking about it and just took Khalil
Maybe he's just
Shakir,
an
which is
idiot. Yeah, maybe he's just an idiot.
which is
I think
also fine.
that's
Yeah.
probably ever more likely.
Sometimes we overthink all these things.
It's probably. Oh, come on. That's so
Oh
early.
wow, that's a huge bummer, actually.
That's a huge loss for us.
Yeah, that
But
sucks.
now it means we get to take Marvin Mims a full
Yeah, I'm
round
fine with that.
behind ADP. So I'm good with that. Anyways, we have to turn our attention back to running back
And here
here.
we go, right to my running backs I was talking about. We got the Chuba Jeff Wilson range right here.
But I'm fine with Jeff Wilson. I'm not fine with Chuba, and I will
Okay,
not
that's
star
fine.
him.
That's
I
fine
will
then.
not star him.
I'm cool with that. I'm fine with us taking Jeff Wilson.
Ty Chandler is someone that could
Yeah.
potentially intrigue me. Leonard Fournette is someone I found myself taking a lot. Simply because I think the range of outcomes is pretty wide on him, and I want to see if there's any teams he's been visiting with. Running back Leonard Fournette, high on Miami Dolphins potential. He says they have the best roster in the NFL 7 hours
Oh,
ago.
Lenny's high on the Dolphins. The Dolphins aren't high on Lenny.
Ryan Leaf believes Steelers would be the best landing spot for a veteran RB.
These are two great blurbs. The first two blurbs are Lenny thinks the Dolphins look good, and Ryan Leaf is talking about Lenny, which is useless.
You just love to see it. Leonard Fournette went on Good Morning Football and shared the story of Tom Brady's pregame speech in Super Bowl 55. Let's
Leonard Fournette
see.
at LSU for a number 7 jersey.
Leonard Fournette
meeting of the sevens. Lenny says he thinks Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase have a good shot to have a breakout season in 2023.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocking.
Lenny's on
Anyways,
fire. I think
I'm gonna go with Jeff. I would probably
I
go with
think we
Jeff Wilson
take
here.
Jeff Wilson here, and then we can finish it out with we'll have 2 more picks, so we can still get that receiver, one of the Giants guys, if you like Hodgins or even Slayton later,
I'm
or
good with Slayton
Claypool.
later as well.
And then what do you
Do you
think
think we're
about tight
good with
end? Do you want to
tight
grab a
end?
third?
Yeah. I mean, Mayer's there, Trey McBride's there. We can do Trey McBride for another week 17 look. Hayden Hurst is someone who I've been kind of targeting in this range as well. I think there's a small but not infinitesimal possibility that he leads the Carolina Panthers in targets this
Oh,
year.
you don't have to sell me on Hayden Hurst. I could take him too.
Okay.
I agree. He's kind of one of those guys that just seems to be going a little bit later. The upside's not high, but
obviously Jake Ferguson's there. We get really gross and take a guy like Jelani Woods.
I think taking a third tight end on this one will make some sense. I mean, like you said, Dallas Goedert, as much as I like him,
I'll star Satan's minion just to.
Oh, this will be some real danger. Just
no, he
see?
goes right
they
away.
weren't letting this happen.
Star Satan's minion, just in case.
Stompy.
I wonder if that's Stompy the Bear, the guy who won Scott Fishbowl 8.
That's a deep pull. What is it?
You
on
never
Scott
know. I
Fishbowl
mean,
13?
I entered a few slow puppies the other day just randomly, and bordering me on both sides were Alfredo Brown and Pat Corain. So
yeah, I saw somebody the other day post one. The name was Pat McAfee, and they were like, "I wonder if this is the actual Pat McAfee."
No shot.
Probably not. Yeah,
no shot.
Because then all the comments on the tweet were like, "Let's see his team," and I was like, "I don't think this is McAfee."
There's no shot.
I don't think he would make his screen name Pat McAfee, but I don't know. Tough to tell.
No shot. No shot. McAfee does. No shot. McAfee plays underdog, dude. He's got tons of other endorsements.
Yeah, so we'll do a 2-5-8-3.
Okay. We're up next. So do we go? What do we do here? What do you want to do here?
I like Claypool or Slayton.
Slayton. Okay.
They're both fine.
See. They're both week 13 buys. We can go Slayton because we already have DJ Moore.
Yeah, good call. I did that the other day, actually, dude. Without Justin Fields, I stacked both Bears receivers, and I was like, "This is disgusting." And this low volume offense, and I can sell myself on DJ Moore forever. I love DJ Moore, so I'll always sell myself on him. But
right,
double stacking the Bears offense without Justin Fields
dude. Why would you draft Lamar, Burrow, and Kyler Murray? Like, what is the point of that?
What's the rest of his team look like?
He's going 4 hard at running back with 2 Saints running backs.
Well, he's got like none of those.
And Alexander Madison, and he's got possibly the worst threesome of wide receivers you could get after starting with Diggs and Ridley.
Yeah, I mean,
guy loves the name Zay, and he drafted Gerald Everett and Sam Laporta. I don't like that team
sort
at all.
of thing with those 3 quarterbacks. If you were stacking all 3 of those guys up with,
and he took Stroud.
Oh my god, and he took Stroud. Yeah,
that might be an auto pick.
Yeah, it could be
because he grabbed both Murray and Stroud away after ADP. All right, so what are we doing here? We said we're going tight end to end it, right?
Yeah, we could. I mean, either way, we could do the.
Likely, is there any Hurst, McBride, Ferguson?
Yeah. I mean, for this sort of setup, personally, I like Likely because our 2 tight ends that we have, Dallas Goedert and Juwan Johnson. Ideally, those guys they're playing each week, and Isaiah Likely is like just the insurance policy in my mind. It's like,
and he's a potential secret spike.
If Mark Andrews gets hurt, he's, propelled to the top 5 tight ends. And even if Mark Andrews is playing, like you said, I mean, he could have like a 2 touchdown week somewhere where he's just, out there in the formation and finds himself open in the red zone. So
Agreed.
I like him in that situation with like Hayden Hurst. I do like the Hayden Hurst pick, like we were talking about earlier with Jake Ferguson and like Dallas stacks, but those guys don't bring as much upside to me. Where like if all ideally all three of our guys are healthy, I don't think Hayden Hurst is the one outscoring the other two. Where Isaiah Likely could legitimately like find himself in a situation with
I
much
agree.
higher upside.
I'm looking at this guy, this Joel threes stack because he's the only red shield in here. This is an interesting team. Geno Pickett Howell. And then he went 0 running back. So Javonte, Dillon, Kendre, Warren, Edwards, Mason. These are all guys that could have a role, especially, Mason and, Edwards are kind of sneaky guys down the list. He left, he drafted 6 solid wide receivers.
Which
And then he
quarter?
has
Oh,
Kelsey.
he got Pickett with
Geno
Deontay,
Pickett.
Geno with JSN.
So he has the JSN stack. He has
Howell.
Pickett with
Oh, dude,
Deontay.
I was so relieved to hear Jahan Dotson go on and say Sam Howell's our guy today. I have a gross amount of Sam Howell as well. It's just
I
like
know you
my
do.
last round third quarterback. And I have a ton of Jacoby Brissett in those super flex drafts as well. So, but that was cool for him to go.
I think you told me that. I think you told me you were fine with either of them starting.
Yeah,
I told you I would rather have Jacoby Brissett start. I think I still feel that way. I think Howell is going to turn out to be a gross asset. Speaking of which,
I would much rather have Jacoby starting for Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson, but I do think that there's a better chance that Sam Howell gets, just first crack at it. And if he's able to keep it, then that's the guy I've kind of been investing more in these, in the one quarterbacks.
All right. Well, I think this turned out really well. I think this draft was absolutely fine.
I think a plus side with our team outside of Devin Singletary is we pretty much have like all the best offenses for those running backs. And to remember with this, because Underdog is so wide receiver heavy for whichever reason, which, I agree with. I also take a lot of wide receivers, but it is half PPR. So you're essentially playing for, touchdowns a little bit more than you are in the PPR leagues. And us having the running backs that we have in these high scoring offenses should lead to a good amount of, touchdown upside here. Like Damian Harris, we're just playing for the touchdowns. Pacheco, we're playing for the touchdowns. Jeff Wilson, and the Dolphins offense also should have a lot of scoring opportunities. And then if McCaffrey can stay healthy, he's in our lineup each week. So you're playing for McCaffrey and then some touchdowns out of those the next 4 of them. So I like that. I think this was a good team. We got our Jalen Goddard stack going, and we got the Derek Carr double stack with Olave and Juwan, which is kind of like the best outcome for a Derek Carr setup.
Yeah, no, I actually like this draft a lot and think this is a really good one. So, final team right here: Jalen Hurts, Derek Carr, CMC, Pacheco, Harris, Singletary, Wilson. I think we did fine there. There's not a ton of star power in there. There's a lot of safe names in there, and then you got the ceiling play with McCaffrey. And then again, this is pretty these are guys who have downfield roles. I think that was a huge thing we leaned into here. You got Olave, Moore, Hollywood, Dotson, Pierce, Mims, Slayton all play a downfield role, and then Boyd plays the slot role, and then you got 3 really safe guys, and likely it's a spike option at tight end. So I really like that.
Yeah, I think it turned out really well, like you said, with the wide receiver group. I'm not looking. The Olave and DJ Moore and Hollywood ideally again are the guys that we're kind of hoping to start at those 3 wide receivers, but having those late guys like Darius Slayton, Alec Pierce, Marvin Mims, guys that can kind of make their whole week in one play. Like Darius Slayton can get in your lineup on 1 or 2 plays. Same with a guy like Alec Pierce. That's kind of like how he's going to make a living in the NFL. So I like having that as well. And then we got the Arizona Philly game stack in week 17 and that San Francisco Washington.
Yeah, I definitely
the Bengals Chiefs.
Yeah, and I think those are 2 stacks that I really like targeting there as well. So, all right, we will see, and we'll keep an eye on that through the season, and hopefully that's the one that wins us $3 million. That would be absolutely wild if we somehow streamed a Best Ball Mania final team. That would be very good. Anyways, guys, that's it for us tonight. I'm Sam Wagman. He's JR. Again, for all the best ball stuff you need, go check out Underdog Fantasy. You can check out my best ball rankings. They're over at thegamedaynfl.com. You can check them out over there. Tons of stuff over on Football Guys that we're doing with some best ball stuff as well. And then Jay is always tweeting about best ball things that he loves to do.
My whole Twitter feed is pretty much my best ball teams. So that's what it is.
Talk about making it your personality, folks. Anyways, that is it for us tonight. We will be back next week as we always are, and we will see you guys then.